Hey, what's up guys, Rip here. So I'm sure most of you are aware of the ongoing Dr. Disrespect situation that's taken place over the past week. And when these events first unfolded, I made a video going over the initial set of events that unfolded. And since then, there has been a lot that has come out, and really we have witnessed the absolute destruction of Dr. Disrespect. Now, where were we last time? Well, here's the timeline of events really quickly. Back in 2020, Dr. Disrespect was mysteriously banned on Twitch at a time where he was considered the face of the platform, and over the years, nobody knew why he was banned, except apparently a select few, including some ex-employees from Twitch who about a week ago made some serious allegations against Dr. Disrespect, claiming the reason he was banned was because he was caught sexting a minor through their then existing Twitch Whispers product, and he also tried to meet up with her at TwitchCon. Now, this was not supported by any publicly available evidence, and also Dr. Disrespect initially was trying to deny any wrongdoing in the situation. However, a lot of questions started to arise. Number one, there was no publicly available evidence, and people were hoping to see that to make judgment for themselves. And on top of that, it relied mainly on the main person making the accusation, who had also made some jokes about trying to monetize the accusation. And basically, if they could sell ticket sales at a show, they might tell the world why he was banned. It was a pretty bad look at the time. However, things would change very quickly, beginning with Midnight Society. This is a game studio that was working with Dr. Disrespect, and he was obviously a very core part of this game and its success in the future once it arrives. And they made a statement against him, risking their own success with the game to make a statement disavowing him. This was made on the 24th, and it says this: "On Friday evening, we became aware of an allegation against one of our co-founders, Guy Beam, aka Dr. Disrespect. We assumed his innocence and began speaking with parties involved, and in order to maintain our principles and standards as a studio and individuals, we needed to act. For this reason, we are terminating our relationship with Guy Beam immediately. While these facts are difficult to hear and even more difficult to accept, it is our duty to act with dignity on behalf of all individuals involved, especially the 55 developers and families we have employed, along with our community of players." In fact, a day later, the studio head at this Midnight Society, Robert Bowling, would make his own statement saying this: "This is a statement from me personally. It does not reflect any of the companies and has not gone through any legal or PR approvals. If you inappropriately message a minor, I cannot work with you, period. I promise to only act on facts, and I did." Now, at the time of the Midnight Society statement, it was right around when Dr. Disrespect was doing a live stream on YouTube. And at the time, yes, a lot of people on Twitter had already accepted the fact that he was guilty of whatever was being accused. They already had come to their own conclusions, even without seeing any of the evidence or further statements from the parties. However, some people on YouTube and in his community, they were still at least giving him the benefit of the doubt. However, with some statements he made on stream, it is very reminiscent of what happened when he was banned on Twitch. During his stream, at one point, he looks down at his phone, and you can tell, like, he saw something that signaled this is the end. He seems completely distraught over it, and then quickly ends his stream.
You know how we run things here. I'm going to call it right there. A little short one. We've accomplished some things, but I think more importantly, we need to step away. I think when I say step away, I'm going to have to either have to relay this to the Midnight Society, but maybe I step away from there too. Just completely remove myself from the scene. It's what I need to do. I mean, right?
And despite his efforts to categorize this whole thing as like a mutual parting of the ways between him and Midnight Society, a lot of people weren't buying that. It seems like Midnight Society, they canned him. They got rid of him because they couldn't work with someone who was facing all of this stuff. And it seems like they have worked with the parties to see some of the alleged evidence involved, and they just simply could not work with this guy anymore, even if it was to their own detriment as a company. And at this point, a lot of people are looking at Dr. Disrespect and they're like, look, man, you gotta address this right now. And that's what he did. Before we look at his statement, it is important to know how sloppy this was delivered. At first, he made the message and used the term minor to refer to the person he was communicating with. And then he would edit the tweet and remove the mention of the word minor. And then he would get caught doing that. So then he would edit the document again and add back the term minor to describe this individual. It was not a very good start, but let's jump in. So he says this: the Twitch ban. Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the effing BS. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about. And I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. So that's the attitude of this whole document. It's like angry and lashing out at people and giving this idea that he's cutting the BS, but he's not going to be knocked down by everything that's happening. And it's really, really weird. But here's the main takeaway from this statement. So beginning here, everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned on Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. So you could pretty much stop at this point. You know that this is really bad for him. He's pretty much confirmed a great aspect of what's being alleged here, but here's his further statement saying, were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, which is a really crazy way to try to frame this. It sounds really like he's trying to avoid actually saying any sort of wrongdoing here, but he would go on to say, nothing illegal happened, no pictures were shared, no crimes were committed. I never even met this individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. So you got to think to yourself, why did he come out and say this and basically confirm the foundation of the allegations against him? I think there's only 2 possibilities. Number one, he is arrogant enough and stupid enough to think people were going to buy this message. And it definitely was not bought by pretty much anybody. And then option 2 is he was feeling pressure and thought that things were going to get out of control even more. And he wanted to get ahead of things in case there was more evidence or even the chat logs were going to come out. So he wanted to get in front of this stuff and make a statement. However, with his statement, he vaguely describes everything and confirms the foundation of the allegations, including the fact this was a minor that was involved. And he won't give any specific details. He just uses the open and vague phrase minor, which no matter what age, it's bad, but also people are left to fill in the blanks. Was this a 17-year-old? Was this a 12-year-old? Nobody knows because he just uses the word minor. And also in this statement, he never raises the defense that he didn't know how old this minor was. He didn't know that they were a minor. He doesn't raise any sort of chance of that defense. He just outright admits that he was talking with a minor. So he took away one of his few defenses he might have had left. And on top of that, he's relying over and over again on the fact that, well, there was no criminal charges brought against me, so I'm innocent. That does not mean you're innocent. People commit crimes all the time and don't get charges against them. That doesn't make them completely innocent of any wrongdoing. On top of that, I mean, look at streamers, YouTubers, and content creators who have been exposed for doing terrible, illegal things but never actually got charges against them. Like, for example, EDP445 has never been criminally charged, at least with any attachment to the things that he's been accused of through his career as a content creator. But moving on, we would see over and over again this idea that he is just a loving husband and a devoted family guy. But now that we know about this situation with the minor, we can now confirm at this point, and it gets worse, that he has cheated on his wife in 2017 with at least 2 different people, one of them being a minor, because we already knew back in 2017 he admitted to cheating on his wife. So now we have this on top of it. It just makes him look worse and worse, and he's trying to use his position as a husband and father as a shield, and it's ridiculous. So he made this statement saying, "Now from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained those conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect, and I'll effing own my shit. This was stupid." Oh yeah, this was stupid. This was just a stupid, dumb accident. No, this wasn't an accident. This wasn't something just dumb happening. These were choices. As a 35-year-old man, by the way, these were conscious choices to do these things, including being inappropriate or having inappropriate conversations with a minor back in 2017. Normally you think, oh, 7 years ago, unless it's something really, really serious, maybe you forget it. But in this case, it is serious, and he was 35 years old at the time. He knew better. And using his status as a husband and father as a shield is ridiculous, because clearly he has no respect for either of those concepts. And you think about it too, like if you were in the reverse of the situation, it was your daughter having some 35-year-old creep saying inappropriate things to her, you wouldn't have such a easy response to all this. You would be much, much more angry. But also on top of that, going back to the husband role, it keeps getting worse. So right about the time he made his statement, another person came forward to claim that they had a sexual relationship with Dr. Disrespect back in 2017. And this time it was a trans sex worker who provided some pretty hard evidence to prove that she had conversations with him, and she had actual video screen recordings of their messages. And it appears that at the time he was carrying on conversations with her, sexual conversations, and he said, if you provide a cam show for me, I'll get you a partnership in return. She delivers the cam show, and then he immediately blocks her. It's just another really terrible look, and now 3 people he cheated on his wife with back in 2017 that we know about. Well, here's the end of the statement. Really, in defiance of everything, he says this. But trust me when I say this, to all my haters that live and breathe social media with zero real life experience, I don't give a F about you. Finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire statement and think I'm a piece of shit, that's fine. But I'm not effing going anywhere. I'm not the same guy that made this mistake all those years ago. I'm taking an extended vacation with my family as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight off my shoulders. They want me to disappear. Yeah, effing right. This dude's acting like he made an edgy joke on Twitter and is getting canceled or something. Like, dude, you admitted to having inappropriate conversations with a minor, and now you have an attitude towards people who have an issue with that? It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, the public reaction to this, I mean, if it wasn't already terrible, we now have confirmation of the main foundation of the allegations. So people were just absolutely destroying this guy on social media, as they should at this point. And the only thing that really remained is his YouTube channel, right? What's going to happen with YouTube? Well, he's taking active measures to try to alleviate, I guess, some of the backlash there. His most recent video has the comments turned off, but if you go to the video before that, you can see all these comments just shredding him apart, and you can see how fast all of this happened. So you have all these comments. One of them is from 10 days ago, before everything happened, just leaving a regular comment. Then everything else is from the last couple of days, and they're basically talking about everything that's happened and all the things that he admitted to and has been accused of. And it just shows how fast all of this happened. All of this took place in the course of only a few days. This guy went from pretty much untouchable to completely destroyed. And on top of that, his YouTube channel is effectively shut down for his purposes. It was announced a day ago actually, that Dr. Disrespect has been fully demonetized on YouTube. And on top of that, All of his channel memberships have been canceled and refunded for this current month. He is effectively getting no financial support from YouTube anymore. And for someone like Dr. Disrespect, he's not doing this for the love of the game. He's doing it because he wants money. So taking away his monetization is essentially taking away the platform for him. So he is effectively shut down on YouTube, at least as it stands for now. And believe it or not, at this time, there was still a sliver of defense. People were still trying to defend him. And mainly they're trying to defend him by saying, well, maybe he didn't know about the age of the minor he was talking to. Well, I thought that seemed pretty clear in the actual statement he made himself. But more people have come out, including Twitch employees, who have said that he was aware of the fact he was talking to an underage girl and he did not care. And that was something that was corroborated by another employee who said that they worked on the investigation and saw the messages themselves. And it's clear that he knew about the age and just simply did not care. And on top of that, we see this defense again of this individual saying, I signed an NDA. Alex here and a lot of other people have raised the concern about why it took so long for all this to go public. It seems clear at this point that obviously Dr. Disrespect knew about all of this stuff from 2017 and on. Twitch knew about this from at least 2020. Journalists have known about this since 2020. And even YouTube seems like they've known about some of these allegations. And yet, nobody said anything until 7 years later, until 2024. And again, like I stated in my previous video, NDAs don't matter in this case. They don't prevent you from reporting crimes to law enforcement. So that's a weak excuse. And now we're left with this situation where this guy's just been running amok for 7 years. And people knew about the things he did, and they said nothing. I think people like that should face criticism for essentially shielding his actions from the public because they were scared for their own reasons, whether it was they were afraid of getting sued or getting into trouble, what have you. And I've also seen a very weird reaction. I've seen some journalists even going after content creators who simply asked for evidence when all this was first breaking. It's a very disingenuous act by these people. They're now trying to shame the people who were asking for evidence when this first broke publicly, where there was no evidence provided. And it was until Dr. Disrespect and some additional parties entered the situation, and obviously Doc's statement where he essentially admits to the core of what's being alleged, then people said, okay, we know this guy did something wrong. But when the first set of statements came out, a lot of people wanted evidence because they didn't want to completely accuse someone and accept them as guilty without any evidence. So I think it was fair and the right thing to do for people to initially ask for evidence when all this first broke, but people are now holding that against people, holding it against people for wanting evidence of an accusation. It's very strange, but overall, I think we have witnessed the destruction of Dr. Disrespect, and rightfully so. I think at this point, there's really no coming back. I don't see how it could happen. Really, his only avenue at this point would be Kick, and I think even Kick is avoiding him, but I mean, they got all kinds of shady characters on Kick, so who the hell knows with that one. But in terms of Twitch, we know he's never coming back to Twitch, and YouTube seems very shaky as well. And really, he has no one else to blame but himself for all this. And a lot of people try to give him the benefit of the doubt, and a lot of other content creators, his former friends and all of them, stood up for him because he was trying to deny everything. But he knew deep down he had done exactly what he was being accused of. And here we are. And he made a lot of people look stupid on top of himself. But he's going to have to deal with this, and everyone else is going to move on. But he's going to be living his own consequences from this. And again, it's deserved based on everything we've saw. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, share your thoughts about everything involved in this situation in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys next time.